I feel like I owe Rad Racer an apology. Yeah, it was really obvious that they were copying the style of Outrun, but then along comes Taito Grand Prix, and it is just Outrun. It's uncanny how much they directly take from Outrun for the game. That said, Taito Grand Prix does bring something new to the racing genre. And unsurprisingly for a Famicom game in 1987, it's RPG elements. Your goal in Taito Grand Prix is to become the greatest racer in the world. Unfortunately, right now, you have a Mini. And it's not a very good Mini. You're also rank D, so it's not like you can get into the really tough races. Each city has a menu like this, where you have the office, where you can choose your race. You can choose to leave the city and drive someplace else. You can go shopping, or you can change your car's configuration. The office in each city offers 3 races, and all but the first race in the first city cost money to enter. So if you do wind up losing all your cash, you could always go back there and start over again. All of the races are checkpoint races, just like in Outrun, and they always start out at this line surrounded by palm trees, exactly like Outrun, and you race through terrain that looks suspiciously just like Outrun. Though Taito Grand Prix doesn't do elevation. When you start the race, you're given your choice of 4 radio stations to play music as you race, just like Outrun. And if you make it all the way to the end, your car skids to a stop, just like Outrun. Unlike Outrun, it's not game over when you run out of time. You can still coast across the finish line, just like Rad Racer. In the race, you have 3 gears instead of 2, but you'll run up them pretty quickly. So you've won your race, and you get a little bit of cash, so let's go shopping. And what you're going to find is that car parts are very expensive. I completed all of the D races and a few of the C races, and I could only afford to change out about half the parts on my Mini Cooper. You could buy tires, brakes, suspension, a new engine, lighter bodywork. It really just keeps going on. There's one other thing you can buy, and that's a whole new car. The next upgrade for you is a Ferrari, but you won't be getting out of your Mini unless you can pull a lot of Italian jobs. The final upgrade to your car that you'll be able to buy is a Formula 1 racer. With our new parts in hand, we can go modify our car. You really can't tune the car though. Basically, whatever you buy is generally going to be an upgrade. The one stat that I noticed that does have some give and take is the weight. So it'll help to buy lighter weight bodywork before you buy the heavier engine. There are dozens of races in Taito Grand Prix. I think it was 12 races that I had to complete in rank D before I leveled up and got to rank C. And once I reached rank C, although I could complete some races, I couldn't reach the checkpoint going flat out in others. Upgrading makes a huge difference, and it's a continuous process. With all of those races to complete and upgrades to buy, obviously you can't play Taito Grand Prix in one session. This is a game with a battery save though, so you'll want to take advantage of that and maybe save before you go into any big race, so you could always reset. I found the driving in Taito Grand Prix to not be too difficult. It's similar to other race games where the biggest threat to you is other drivers deciding to swerve into your lane. That also meant that initially it's not especially difficult. Anyone with any experience with 8-bit driving games isn't going to have any trouble completing the D-rank races. But it'll still take you about an hour to do so. The thing that annoyed me the most while playing Taito Grand Prix is that there wasn't a way to see what you had while you were shopping. I wound up having to go back and forth between the car customization screen and the store to try to work out which upgrades were worth it for me. If you don't want to wait to earn enough money to advance your car, free mode is available from the main menu. Select it, and you can go right up to any car you like. And the game does play a lot more smoothly when you get into a faster vehicle. In the Mini, it just feels a bit pokey, but it feels a lot faster once you're in the sports car. Taito Grand Prix is a solid game whose biggest issue is that the best 8-bit racer of the 1980s just came out a few months before it. It's also historically interesting since this is the first console game where you can tune your car. I feel like Taito Grand Prix was impressive for late 1987, but also lacking in a couple of key areas. The initial racing isn't as exciting as other racers we've seen, while the cash-earning mechanics slow the game down to a crawl. As a racing game, I guess it just needed to be faster.